All right, we all know about warranty nightmares. Automotive Warranty Network Incorporated. If your warranty process still involves sticky notes, tribal knowledge, and late night claims rejections, you're leaving money on the table. Automotive Warranty Network Incorporated brings clarity, compliance, and cash flow to your warranty game. They speak fluent OEM, and they've got your back. Hey, I want to encourage you to take a visit over to our partner, Target Automotive, target.com. That is great until you're drowning in it. Target turns that chaos into clarity with dashboards that actually make sense. Fixed ops leaders finally get what they need: real time, drill down insights without the spreadsheet migraines. It's not just business intelligence, it's Target. Let's talk parts. Yeah, that corner of the dealership most people don't look at until there's a fire. Parts Edge helps you clean up that mess. Smarter inventory, better margins, and no more guessing games. It's like giving your parts manager a crystal ball, except this one actually works. Spiffy. You can manage your mobile appointments, optimize your service routes, track inventory, and process payments, all with Spiffy, and you can learn more at spiffy.com. You ever wish you could inspect every car like a tech with X-ray vision? UVI is like an MRI for your car. UVI doesn't miss a thing. Scans the tires, the underbody, body panels, and wheels for scuffs in seconds, giving your team instant, actionable intel without slowing down the lane. That's not the future. That's UVI, and it's live in stores today.
Well, hello all, and thank you for joining another, fun-filled conversation with We Are, where we are women supporting and lifting other women up. But I also wanted to add today, before we start the show, that this group is for everyone. We are a group of strong women who are really wanting to lead this industry better than we found it. Thank you, Dave, for starting it. Thank you, IntelliCheck, for being one of our sponsors. Sorry. Sorry. And then I also wanted to personally apologize to you ladies. I've just recently taken on a new role where I've been doing some consulting and I haven't been engaged as much as I should be during your episodes. So I wanted to just personally apologize and let you know that when the reruns come out, that I do watch them and I do support you, and each and every one of you really inspire me. And I just wanted to say thank you. And I'm sorry if I haven't been available enough for you. And
No apology needed.
so I'm trying to learn this whole new thing, and it's this thing called like life and travel again is crazy. But today we have Cindy Ziba from Scent Dealer Services. Cindy is somebody who became very special to me really early on when I ventured out and started, putting my name out there on LinkedIn. And I'll never forget, Cindy sent me a Christmas card, and I was just breaking down in tears because I had just lost my mom. And I was just really going through a horrible time with work, with, deciding to leave the West Coast. And one thing that really inspires me about Cindy is Cindy truly leads through empathy and compassion. You can see it in her, you can hear it in the tone of her posts. You can hear it in her voice when she talks to you. And she's always been a big supporter. And so I'm going to let Cindy take it from here and, tell us a little bit about yourself.
That is so sweet. Thank you for sharing that. I absolutely love my Christmas card tradition. I'm Cindy Z. I work with Ascent Dealer Services and Adam Marburger. We are an F&I and coaching agency. Yeah, it's a tradition that I've had, I think, for the last 8 probably years. And every year I take another picture with me, a different car, and my dogs. The dogs keep multiplying. And I just mail it and write something nice on all of them. And typically I start my holiday card the first week of October. I'm taking the picture and I'm ordering because it goes out to like a few hundred people. And this year I'm supposed to be taking my picture and I broke my hand. So I'm like, I can't take the picture because I can't write in these cards anyway yet. So that'll be happening hopefully right before Thanksgiving. I'm just going to do a whole week of a crash course writing cards nonstop. But yeah, I've been in the business about 10 years, on the sales side for F&I companies, marketing companies in automotive, and I absolutely love this industry and all of the ladies in it and everyone just supporting each other. And there's just so many things you can do in automotive. It's definitely the right path for me.
I love that. And can so you weren't always in automotive. Um, and this is another interesting, topic for me, because you originally started in like hospitality and caretaking. And tell me how you got into the automotive part of it.
I guess like I can be quick about it. So I worked at a nursing home. I was a CNA and I did activities there. It was very taxing on your body and it was very low pay. So a woman that worked at the nursing home said, "My sister's a chef at this restaurant. It's a new hotspot in Tampa. Go there, they'll hire you." And when I had an interview with the owner, he asked, "Do you have experience? What do you do now?" And I did not have experience. And I said, "I wipe butts for a living and do activities with these elderly." So he basically said, "If you could do that, you can do anything." And he hired me in Tampa, and I worked for their family for 10 years in the restaurant industry. I think that being in hospitality really is everything. And everyone, in my opinion, should work at a restaurant at some point in their life just to understand and grasp it. But if you care about the customer and make things creative and make them want to keep coming back, the tip, the paycheck, it doesn't matter, because if you're doing all the right things, all of it will come to you. And I ended up getting fired from that job by a manager who she should not have fired me. But the owner wouldn't reinstate me because he said, "Sydney, like you got to go. Like there's bigger and better things out here. You can go make more money. You're a great salesperson. Go on with your path." And I was already doing something part-time marketing wise in the car industry. So I rolled with it, and here I am now with Ascent, and I couldn't be happier with really the way life has gone. And again, this industry has given me everything, and there's just so much you could do. It's never ending. So
No, I love that. I managed McDonald's all through high school, and I think that you're so correct. You learn so much in the restaurant industry, not only from the people perspective, from the employees or to the customers, but you really learn about like cost of goods, and you really learn about having to move on the fly and being able to make quick decisions. And I'll never forget, in the restaurant industry, it's always the damn cheese that messes up the profits. You got to be careful with how much cheese you use. Um, so you just recently moved and really started, kind of, in a whole new area. And how has that been? Because you've got a pretty big base, right? You've got customers all over. Um, how's the move been? First, welcome to the Carolinas. You came to the cool part of the country. Um,
thank you.
But how has that been as far as the transition? Because I remember watching, you had quite a bit of challenges. You had some problems with the house closing on time. You had your puppies you had to worry about. And then you were still taking care of, this big customer base. So how's things been settling down that way?
Well, this is not my first move. I'm originally from Tampa Bay, and then I spent 4 years in Philadelphia. So right when I had just started with Ascent Dealer Services, I just moved to Philly. So we decided, you can kind of handle this coast, right? Like you have relationships in Florida, you have relationships in Philadelphia. You're good to, kind of go back and forth. And I have family between the two. So now that I've moved to North Carolina, I have business more down south, more up north, and absolutely no one in my area. I work with a few independent dealers, but there's a lot of big groups out there. And I would say no owner operator, if you walk into a store, ever says, "Yes, Cindy, I woke up this morning and I would like to change all of my F&I products and all of my money that is attached to all of my offshore accounts because we really like you and you're new to the area." So right now I am in let's build relationships mode here in North Carolina. But I love it here. When I say I'm literally never moving again, it's not just because the move was not the easiest, which I'm sure everyone on here has moved at some point or another. It's not always easy. It was not in this case. But it is amazing here. It's just such a more slower pace and relaxing. Like I'm looking out at my yard right now and it's just like beautiful green. It's fall is turning right now, and they get all the seasons in the North Carolinas anyway. So I feel like I'm getting the best of, my Florida, Philadelphia. I'm right in the middle and I can get anywhere I need to on this entire coast. If I get in my car at 5 a.m., I could be anywhere to my stores at least by noon. So I love it.
That's amazing. What kind of challenges are you seeing within your business right now? What's something that you a challenge that's maybe new that you haven't had to deal with previously? Because for me, it seems like it doesn't matter which side of the industry you're on. These last couple of years have really presented some really unique challenges that we're having to, for me, I've been having to keep on my feet. What are you seeing that you're having a hard time overcoming right now?
So I think as a whole in our industry right now, margin compression is massive. I don't see that going away, but that's not necessarily something that's hurting us in our business because it's actually making us thrive as an F&I company. We are having to find ways to be able to make more money in dealers, and that is making your F&I department more profitable, as well as making sure that the way that the dealers park their money is the smartest and the most profitable, which is exactly what we do as an agency. So what is hurting a lot of the industry is something that I think there are a lot of companies out there, right? That if you just stay open-minded and research and make sure you're putting your faith in the right people, we can solve these problems together. And just a reminder that things that we were doing 5 years ago in F&I and again, the way that you're reinsuring and holding all of your money, it's not the same anymore. There are better ways. Just like ChatGPT and all of the AI, like there are ways that we can make our business better and continue to grow even with the money shrinking.
Right. Well, the one thing that was interesting to me is you kind of present yourself more of like a brokerage. You have the ability to where you've got several companies that are kind of under your umbrella. And one thing that I really like about your approach is you truly want to be partners. So you care just as much as their bottom line and their margins as you do your own. And so because of that, you're able to kind of plug them in and find out and have customized solutions for their departments. And my question for you is, one of the biggest things that has been kind of like us against them, which is not supposed to, but I'm the aftermarket world versus a dealer, is that customer pay retention within our service departments and things like that. So how are your what are you guys doing to partner with the dealerships with your warranty coverages or whatever it is that you have, for the F&I, to help them grow that customer pay and get some of that regular service, work back in their departments?
Yeah, so something that we do a little bit differently is our agency, we're known for our coaching and development, and that is number one. So yes, we're a brokerage. We have all of the products available to you, but all of the products are the same. That's not the thing that's going to separate, me from the big box companies. However, we do have a little bit more flexibility. If you were a dealership coming to me saying, what do I do? This is what I'm currently doing. I don't just have that one solution like the big guy. We have, 12 different solutions where we could plug it in, and we're agnostic. We don't care whether you go with this person or this person. We're going to put you in what makes the most financial sense, with the best structure for future growth. And then we're going to put the coach on your store that also makes the most sense. They're typically on a store with me. So depending on whether it's a group or individual point, we'll place who makes the most sense. And then I'm more of the customer service person. So if you have an issue with claims or menu issues, I come in and I answer on the first ring and I make sure you're taken care of. And The coaches do the coaching and I stay in my lane, and they don't get bogged down by all of the tedious stuff that they don't need to, so that they can help grow, push the numbers, and meet those goals.
And that's another big topic is the coaching and training, and it's really rare that you see that with vendors, or at least on my end of things, getting tire vendors to come in and to train on tires or things like that, things that I know enough to be dangerous, but I'm not, well versed in things like that is tough. But how do you handle, how do you or your team handles when you're offering the coaching and training, but where you're at is not being receptive? I mean, can you describe a time like maybe where you felt like you've invested everything and you've had to walk away, and why? I mean, what kind of pushback? Because one thing that I do think is worse in the dealer side than mine is that instant gratification. We want instant results. We want them right now. And we talk about coaching and training, but what I don't think we talk enough about the pushback that you get within it, whether you're consulting or the actual coach or training. How are you guys overcoming those type of objections right now?
Well, I mean, dealerships that we sign on, the buy-in is from the top down. It's not just, a finance manager coming to us saying like, yes, we want this, let's sign on. So because it's starting with the ownership, we have the buy-in, and we're setting up the structure in a way that we're only biting off a little bit at a time. We're not saying, okay, our PVR is 1,000, we want you to be at 2,500, click your finger, and that's what we're going to get. We're going to set goals, and a little bit at a time attain those goals. Again, one thing at a time. I'm not the coach. I know that that's how they do it. But I don't think that we see too much pushback. We guarantee actually that we will get you to where you want to be.
That's amazing. So does the audience have any questions? Sorry, guys. I'm still pretty nervous at this. I really appreciate your patience.
Me too. I'm sweating through this thing.
I'm like dying. My hair is getting frizzier and frizzier as we talk.
In case everyone didn't know, I broke my hand last week in 2 places. So I'm just slowly plugging along here, doing the best that I can.
And yet here you are still showing up.
Oh.
One thing, as you've grown your business, you've been able to have more of a team, underneath you, around you. And tell me how you don't have to travel as much as you used to, but was it hard to be able to, when you were so personally involved with a lot of these setups and a lot of these, and building the relationships with these people, how easy was it for you to be able to trust in the team to hand it over? Is that something you struggle with? Where does your role come in now that you have the team to handle those, and how do you hold accountable to your customers on that?
I love my agency so much. The structure is so great. I'm still very involved with all of the stores that I've signed on and anyone I've had a relationship with, because I'm not the person that comes in and does everything. I am the person that keeps the relationship and makes sure every single person, there's no issues with claims, or again, your menu has issues. Like, I'm the go-to, like, call me 911, Cindy, like something's not working. This VIN is not populating. I have a customer sitting in front of me. What do I do? And then the coaches do the coaching. The management does the recaps and make sure the money is all right. So there's just the different roles that are helping all row the boat in the same direction. It just wouldn't make sense that I come in and I do the coaching for an F&I manager who has been doing this for 30 years when I haven't done it one. So I think that's a huge difference between our company and all the rest. Is I'm focusing in my lane, everyone has their lane, and we all communicate together to get it pushed in the right direction.
No, I love that. And I think that's something that we don't talk enough about within our industry is swim lanes and how important that they really are. And I think it comes for me, it comes with, we have to identify that personally. We gotta let our egos go, or swallow our pride, and realize, like you said, we don't know everything. And I think that many times out of the goodness of our hearts, we try to cross the lanes to try to make things better.
I agree with that statement.
and we make it worse, and then we get defensive because we were trying to help, so we get our feelings hurt or whatnot. And so working for the company or working with a team that really respects each other's swim lanes, I think is super important. And that's kind of how I lead too. You know, I want to clearly define swim lanes for all the roles, but in my world, I like to keep them open enough to where, because you also want to give people an opportunity to rise to the occasion, or, people that want to grow and you want to give those. But I think that's super important. And I think it's something that we struggle with inheritably in our industry.
For sure. And all of us only have so much time, right? So if you were to put me right in your role in a mechanic area and say, Cindy, change this tire, it's going to take me 17 hours to change a tire as opposed to your mechanic who's going to do it in 2 minutes. So yeah, I respect the stay in your lane because someone else is going to do it way faster than me. And guess what? They're also going to call me for help and say, Cindy, I need you to get on this because it's way faster for me to do those things. So
Like me in spreadsheets. I know how to read them, but if you want me to make one, it's going to be like, it's like piping sunlight in somewhere. It's going to take forever. Being a successful female and, really kind of in dominating, your piece of the industry, I think boundaries are super important, and being able to maintain confidence as a woman in the industry, but also be able to set firm boundaries. And actually, Charity asked me this question, and she really stumped me on a recent podcast I did with her. Was she asked me if I felt like women feel like we have to apologize more in this industry. So how do you set boundaries, and do you feel like you need to apologize more for things than your male peers?
no, I apologize if I truly do something wrong. And I do tend to get in my own way, which Adam wrote a book that's literally says get a guide to getting out of your own way. So anytime I say something negative, he will refer back to his book and be like, snap out of it. But I don't know. I set these non-negotiables and I make sure that my routine is right. So boundaries leading into like start your day off right, do your morning routine. Don't allow negative, toxic people into your life who are even making you think like, oh, I have to apologize for something. Um, and don't surround yourself with people who don't have that growth mindset and don't want the same things. Or if you do, just make sure that they don't have a seat at your table type thing.
No, absolutely. It's a hard one, and I think it's for me in my area of the industry. I almost have to have boundaries in each different department that I walk into, and have those, and I have to stay very, very clear and firm on those. And I've really thought about that apologizing question, and I agree wholeheartedly. I truly will apologize if I truly did something wrong, or I'll reflect on it. Sometimes I won't apologize right away. I'll listen to what it is that someone feels I need to. And there's times I'll go back and be like, you're right. But I I think that we have to apologize there's a reason to be sorry, but we also have to really mean it at the same time. Because I think sometimes sorry or apologizing is like the covert word of, I'm sorry I pissed you off, but I'm not going to really stop what I'm doing.
Agree. Yeah.
and that's really hard. And back to your topic with structure, with travel, you do, because you don't do it as much, but you still do it. How important is it to have your structure when you're traveling? How do you stay on track and maintain a healthy eating, maintain healthy sleep habits, still keep in touch with your your family and your home?
Yeah, I guess I don't travel as much as I used to, especially not at this very moment, but having the plan before you go, right? Like even if you're stopping at dealerships, it's important to have the map and the path already made out for you. So if I'm doing something Monday through Thursday, I know that at this time I'm waking up, these are my 3 stops, this is the path that I'm taking, these are the people that I'm seeing. And that helps tremendously. And then the food gets thrown right in there, right? Like when you have the things chunked out and already blocked out, I like to eat as healthy as possible. I am not always number one, but I pack meat sticks. I pack, fruit bars. I pack the healthier options, and then also pick the healthier lunch things when I do eat out. Because fueling your body correctly, that is absolutely everything. If you're not fueling it correctly, you're not sleeping right. If you're over drinking, you're not sleeping right. And then how do you carry on about your day? So yeah, you got to make sure that you have your checklist and you're doing all the right things, because when you're filling all of the pieces correctly, it gives you more energy and it allows you to be successful in your day.
Yeah, and I found with me that it helps me not get thrown off track, because everything's changing. Every day it's a new objection. And when I'm structured, but I'll be honest too, I mean, I struggle with being alone. It's the times that I'm alone myself, whether I'm in the car for 10 hours or, at my hotel, and I get in my own head. And, I'll start overthinking and overanalyzing everything. And, before I go to bed, then I'm just convinced I can't even do this anymore. And then I can't sleep. So it becomes this vicious cycle, sometimes. And how do you stay out of your own head on times that you're alone, being away from, your home and family?
The short answer, call Adam. If I'm ever having any type of issues or if I'm in my own head, I literally I have him on speed dial right below my parents and my honey. He is definitely a speed dial for me. So having a close-knit group of people who you can like and trust and mentors in your life, that's definitely something that helps.
So it just goes back to people. I remember I was able to have a private dinner with George Foreman a few years ago at one of the Meineke conventions, and he did one of the most powerful speeches that I'd heard. And he was talking about how he didn't realize how important and how blessed he was until he started to realize how important it was to bless yourself by being surrounded by the right people, and just having that. So I think there's so much truth to that.
Agree.
Geez, help me out, audience. Come on, come on. You got any
Hey,
questions?
I have a question. So, Cindy, how do you get in front of these people? Like, what's your best advice in terms of obtaining the opportunity to be seen
Woo!
and to
Isn't
present?
that the question? That is the question. And I know again, this is why I love the car industry. There are so many different areas of sales in this industry. And I don't want to say this is the hardest what I do, but literally walking in and cold calling into a store and getting in front of an owner where all of these stores are groups, no owner is just sitting in their office for the most part, saying, yeah, Cindy, let me hand you my book of all of my financials so that you can take a look at, make sure what I'm doing is right. And then switch all of my F&I products, literally 0 times, will that happen. So for me, because I've been with Ascent for so long, I have grown enough of a book of business and I have a social media presence where I'm posting daily, whether it's work related, motivational, whatever. Like, this is my life right now. I want for people to get to know me. And by giving them the inside of my life, hopefully they like and trust me a little bit to
Mhm.
allow me the opportunity to even have a conversation with you to see if we could do business. So relationships right now are everything, and it's very slow, but it's very rewarding. I love people. I love helping others. I know that my team is literally, for the most part, the best fit, because we truly care and we do it a different way. So the relationships are the biggest thing, social media, and it is not easy. And if I had that magic, how do you do it? I would certainly be doing it even more, but yeah, social media right now and relationships.
Okay,
So
so in terms of relationships, social media, I get, so that means you're waiting for them to reach out to you, or you're reaching out through social media, I think
Yeah,
is what you're saying. Okay, but
correct.
then in terms of anything other than that, are you doing cold calling? Are you making phone calls? Are you emailing? Like, what physically are you doing to
I
build new relationships, I should say, outside of social media?
Sure. I cold call a little bit. Um, because I'm new to this area and I don't know the structure of all the groups here, I do step foot into all of the stores at least once to kind of investigate. But I will also network with people in the area. So if I'm friends with one person at a group of 5 stores, they know everybody. So I can sit with them at lunch and then kind of branch out and brainstorm. This group owns these people, vice versa. And independent dealerships, that's an easy one for us because we also service independent, and that's a little bit easier to get in for me, being new to the area than a massive group. A lot of times that it just takes years and years of relationship and trust for someone to be able to open a book and say, here's our financials, like, let's see if we can
For
do
sure.
business and where
Yeah.
can you help. So
Yep.
a little bit I cold call. I should cold call more. I don't know, but then I can't answer the phone every second when all my people are calling for claims issues. So you have to
Right.
have a good balance of everything, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, Leslie, where are you from?
I live in Arizona.
I've never been to Arizona. I need to go.
Oh, it's beautiful. If you come out here, let me know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in the Phoenix area, not the Tucson area.
Okay.
But it's absolutely, especially right now, it's gorgeous here. Yeah, we're in the 70 and 80-degree weather,
That's
and
great.
it's just, we're coming into our best season. Everybody wants to be here now.
Well, I'm from Florida, so I love it nice and hot. So even
Yes.
if it were 100, it wouldn't scare me away. And I like to collect those Starbucks cups from all of the states and like places I
Oh,
go. So I'm
I do
like, I
too.
literally need to check it off of my list. So I'll be there.
Well, let me know.
I will.
That's great.
I love
And
that.
link me on social media, link me on LinkedIn. I like to support everyone on here and root for everyone. And honestly, there is no competition. Like we're all in it together. There's plenty of business for everyone. And I enjoy getting to know what other people are doing because if it's the right fit for some of our clients or, somewhere where we don't necessarily have a ton of business and makes sense for someone else, I'm happy to connect.
And I can
Great.
attest to that. Cindy's always been the first one. She's like, she knows if something's off. I'll just get like this quick message, is everything okay? I mean, that's one thing I just absolutely love about you. And circling back just a little bit back on the getting in front of people. One thing that I do notice is you seem to mentor some of the newer employees, I think, as I've seen on your social media that are going into the market or joining the team. What advice do you give them to handle that rejection? Because you're right, it does take a while to build the relationships or to get the foot in the door. What are some of the things that you share with them that have helped you be confident in overcoming those as you built your book of business?
That's a hard one. We have been hiring a lot of coaches specifically. So they don't do what I do in cold calling, but they're reliant on me to sign new business because we're adding all of these coaches. So it's a little bit stressful, but very exciting. Also, some of the staff that we're hiring on, they are more experienced than me in this. So I'm absorbing all that I can from them and just feeding back to them my positive attitude and energy. And we are all truly in this together. So no doesn't mean no. It just means no for right now. And like, what's a creative way that we could get back in front of this person and say, hey, remember me from 6 months ago? And you said no, like, hello, I have something new now and we still want to work with you, like anything. I think just having that positive energy and camaraderie and like keeping it fun, no matter what, even if you get the door slammed in your face, there's tens of thousands of dealers out there and it's going to be okay. So
Nice. What advice would you give a young, lady or gentleman that's wanting to join this industry
do
today?
it. Do it. There's no better industry because there are literally endless options. There are so many things you can do within automotive, not even just in the car dealership space, but even what you're doing, Jamie. And I don't know, like what we do as an agency and other companies out there that are vendors, there's just endless opportunities and so many great people and mentors. If you pick the right person to follow, they're not going to let you fail. Find the person that wants to teach you, wants to train you, wants to grow with you, and it will change your life. And this industry is seriously, it's the best.
I love how much you love this industry.
Yeah.
But, just doing it, I mean, do you think that it takes, there's been there's been that clash of like the newer generation, younger generation, and, and it's not just our industry, it's everywhere. But do you think that, how do you feel about the younger generation coming in? Do you think that as you're meeting new people, because I'm sure you meet them in, the stores or the dealerships that you go in. I mean, how do you view the younger generation and their work ethic and what they're wanting out of it? Do you really think that they're lazy as they're being portrayed, or do you look at that differently?
They're just as lazy as the culture you put them in. So not every store is the right fit for every individual, just like my role is definitely not the right role for every individual, right? I get told 99.8% of the time, no, that is not for everybody. Same with dealerships. If you have a weird culture, then it might take someone that could have potentially been awesome, but you're feeding them like with negativity and like the wrong people, and it might make them get spit out and be lazy and do all of the things. So finding that right fit, I think, whether it's within the dealership or within a vendor side, you just have to have that right fit, I think, in order for someone young or someone old to be able to fit in and thrive and be successful. Culture, 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 and people. It's all about the people.
Absolutely. McKenna's got a question.
Yeah, I don't know if it's question as much as it is like commentary that no one asked for. But I think it's like with the younger generation, they're also so used to instant gratification, like common sense. They're so tech native that I think sometimes entering in this industry, and I'm guilty of it as well. I'm 30 years old. I started a company in this industry, and I was like gobsmacked by how ridiculous some of the tech stack is. Like how the DMS doesn't connect to the CRM, doesn't connect to the scheduler. Everyone's manually logging things. They're passing out leads in the service bay or in the BDC by placing ROs to follow up with on people's desks, like physical printouts. And I think some of the perceived laziness can also just be like distaste for how antiquated it is. Like they're not going to want to do stupid shit because it's stupid. And that's how a lot of our processes are set up today, because we've never imagined another way of doing business that could solve some of the problems that are like leading to our issues. I don't know. I think it is culture for sure. And like you're never gonna get someone who's not hardworking in their core to work hard. You just won't. But I think a lot of it is like being open to not knowing what we don't know about the space, and vice versa. As an outsider, like I had to spend a lot of time shutting up and listening to learn like why is it the way that it is. If we don't understand the problem, we can't find the solution. And I think the same is true for like hiring the next generation. Like we need to be open to believe that there might be a better future ahead of us.
I don't think I could agree with you more. And I mean, just your statement, we've got to call out the bullshit, because you're absolutely right. If we don't address what's broken, how do you expect people to fix it? And me personally, I think there's lazy in all generations, whether you're younger generation or older generation. And to your point, is you're absolutely right. I struggle with technology. I really have to step out of my comfort zone with that. But what I'm finding is this younger generation, they really have like an entrepreneurial type mindset. They want to be part of the processes to make it better. They want to be part of the input that directs the output. And I think we as leaders are failing them, and we're failing our older generation. I don't necessarily like to say young or old, but that do struggle with the technology and things like that. If we would, from the top down, change our mindset and change our culture to pair these based on personalities to help each other, I personally think we would be freaking unstoppable.
Agree.
Totally.
Absolutely
And I
agree.
think you saying that, like, that is the first step, is like all you need is one person who's been in the industry for a long time, who cares about like learning and adapting. You saying that just like emboldens other people around you to admit that they might not have all the answers and that they're open to learning. I think that's like the biggest thing we could do collectively to make sure that this next gen that inherits the dealership is set up for success and not like obsolescence.
Well, I completely agree. And I feel like we got to quit talking about it though, and we got to start implementing it, because to your point, there's so much of this technology that's coming out, and it's like the human game of asteroids, right? Every time it's around, but there's not many products out there that truly integrate with a GMS system or a POS system to where they make sense. So we're investing all this money and we're creating frustration because it's not being streamlined. And then it's like, I will find, and I mean, I'll admit it, I'll be 47 next, I don't remember, in a few months, but I sometimes it's not ego or pride, but it's embarrassment sometimes when I have to go and ask a technical question. I have to really, really like just be like, hey, it's okay to be computer stupid. We'll figure this out. And I think that it's not only culture, but it comes within that culture, we've got to be able to get back to where there is no such thing as a stupid question, and be able to talk about it, work out loud. And again, Cindy, to back what you and I were talking about, appreciating and keeping within those swim lanes. It doesn't make us any less valuable, with if we don't know something, because to me, true growth is not always focusing on what our strengths are, but recognizing, identifying our weaknesses, and then partnering our weakness to another strength. And that's why we get good teams. That's why we have so much turnover in this industry, because people don't want to take the time to partner personalities and strengths and weaknesses.
For sure. And that's, again, one of my non-negotiables is you have to have that growth mindset. And whenever we partner with groups, it is brought to the table from the very beginning. If you don't have that same like-minded growth mindset, where are any of us going? So yeah, I agree. Whether you're old, whether you're young, just being open-minded and working together to row that boat in the same direction is going to get us all where we need to go. And staying in your lane, but working together, it just makes so much sense.
Absolutely. And that the ability to be able to slow down, to regroup so we can speed up. We create so much of our own roadblocks because we refuse to let off the throttle when necessary, to kind of just idle for a minute and have the 2 minutes to identify the disconnect. Can you imagine
That was my post today. I'm like, I'm slowing down because I physically have to. And that was literally what I wrote about today. Slow down.
And I struggle with it, because I'm the type, I'll get to my first, or we'll get to a win, and I'm like, okay, great. Okay, now how do we get to the next? And so, I mean, I struggle with it too, to be doing that. So, one more question for you. Looking back now at your younger self, what is something you would like to tell your younger self, or is there anything to your younger self you would want to apologize for?
I don't think that I would apologize for anything, only because like today, right now, as I sit, I have never been happier in my life. I feel like career, health, happiness, family, like everything has, well, other than the hand, everything is just so cohesive and so dispersed, like evenly. And it's because I've removed toxic things in my life. And I don't know, like I would just look back at younger me and say, don't worry, like you don't know this, but in 10 years or 15 or 20 years from now, like you're good. Just keep on your path. And maybe I wish I had started in the car industry sooner, would be my only thing, but maybe not, because everything that happened literally led me to where I am right now. So I don't want to change anything because I don't want to jinx where I am at this current moment. So I'm just happy.
I love that. What about anybody else?
I wish I had been more confident and realized my own strengths. That's what I would say. But also, I wanted to say, to me, going back to asking questions and feeling dumb, really, somebody said this to me years, and I was in my 20s. I'm a long way from that now. The dumbest question is the one that's never asked. And it's so true. You know, that's how you learn. Yeah, you have to ask. And it's okay. And I think, from my perspective, leading a team in, various different industries, and different roles that I've had, one of the things that I made very clear is that, first of all, like, this is a no judgment zone. So whatever question you have, it's okay. And I'd rather you ask it than not know and then make a mistake, right? So I really think it's important to convey to your team that if they do have a question, they should ask it and feel judgment free, for sure.
I could not.
It's my 2 cents.
No, I could not agree more. And one thing that happens I've seen a lot on the aftermarket side of shops is you get managers or leaders in there that, well, I told them what to do. I told them what to do. And then they're holding them accountable. And one of the most recent conversations that I just had is a young leader that I've been help mentor and help work through. I was like, but have you shown them how to do it? I said, leadership isn't about telling somebody what to do. It's, have you taken the time to show them how to do it? I'm a firm believer that you have to give space for questions, pushback, even the opportunity and the space for them to prove their point to you or not prove your point to you, why it's wrong or why it's right. And I think that those type of environments start when you're able to quit telling and start showing. And as leaders, I think that we confuse many times that there is a time to coach and there's a time to lead and there's a time to train. And then there's a time that we just have to do. It's not about any of those. It's making sure whether it be a shop, get payroll, and you just got to step in and take it over for that moment. And I think that's what teams need to understand. To your point, Cindy, when you're partnering with somebody who's not going to let you fall, we're going to come in and we're going to do what we have to do to get through the moment. And not everything has to be you did this wrong or right. We got through it together, and now let's revisit how we don't get there again.
I may jump in there. Also, one thing as a leader, we need to also admit when we don't know. Some leaders, when they don't know, they react like, come on, Jamie, why would you ask me such a stupid question? We all know how to do that, right? When I don't know how to do it either, but I don't want to seem vulnerable, right? So it's, and it's okay that not everybody knows everything. That's why we're all unique people. And the How to Win Friends and Influence People stated it over and over again. We all have our own specific niche and knowledge, and we should allow others to thrive when we don't.
And we should encourage them. That's why it takes a village. A team of thee is never going to be as strong as a team of we.
Yep.
Well, ladies, I had a blast. Thank you for putting up with my awkwardness and me being
You're not awkward.
Yeah, stop putting yourself down.
Yeah, stop
awesome.
that. Great.
Cindy, I can't wait to meet you. We will meet, even if we got to drive halfway, meet you in person. But thank you guys all for being here. Thank you for being part of my village. And Cindy, thank you so much for coming on today.
Holiday
Thank
cards
you.
being written soon. Don't worry.
Perfect. You got my address.
Take care.
Thanks. Bye. Have a great rest of your week.
See ya.
You too.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.